Hi, welcome everybody to another Planet 6 Parts tips video. In this video we're going to be covering the heater blower. So I was contacted recently by somebody, and like a lot of people have awful trouble with the heater blower. It is something that gives an awful lot of trouble, and people just seem to leave it because only one stage of the blower is working but not the other. So like a lot of people have the same trouble, and it becomes a guessing game. Is it the switch? Is it the wiring? Is it the blower? Is it the motor? Do I need to replace the switch? Do I need to replace the motor? And it becomes a guessing game. And best way to do it, problem solve it first. Find out what's wrong before you get delved in. Maybe you don't have to pull it out and go through all that. Sometimes, and I've had it before, people have wanted to buy all new motors and everything, and I found out it was just a little broken wire that you soldered back together, and there you go, everything worked perfect. So in this video what we're going to do is we're going to cover how the motor works, how the blower works, and how the switch works. So you can diagnose and do this exact same diagnostics to test if you're having a problem, where the problem may be, what you may be do to fix it, and if worst case then yes, you may have to replace some parts. Alright, so getting on to it. Let's start with the blower itself, how it works. So on this 74, I just happened to be putting a new switch in anyway, and a few other stuff, and it's getting some all LED wiring, lights and all that. So it's all exposed, so it's a little easier. However, you can still test it when the switch is on by simply disconnecting it from the back of your switch. So the motor itself has three wires that comes out. One is a ground wire, which theoretically should be black, although it's white, so somebody at some point has probably changed it. And then you have two power wires, light green and brown, and you have dark green with a light green tracer. The one with the brown, the light green with the brown, is your low speed or single stage, and the dark green with the yellow is your high speed or stage 2, whatever way you want to call it. So before we do anything, what we're going to do is we're going to test the motor to see is it actually working before we go pull it all out. So I have some jumper cables here that I've made. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start by grounding out the unit. So there's one wire. Let's go grab my other wire. There it is here. So I'm going to clamp it onto the negative. I have a battery here. And there we go. So that's grounded out. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to test the two speeds on the motor itself. Okay. So I'll start off with low speed. I've put a spade connector on this because this actual unit itself actually was suffering from a ground issue. So I'm going to hold it to the spade connector, and I'll put it to positive power and see. And if you hear it there, you can hear it running. So we know that works. Now we're going to test the other one. Do the exact same. Hold it to positive, hold the power. Now you should clamp these on by spade connectors on it. These are heat shrink, so it doesn't fit in great. So now if you can hear that, the second stage is working great. So I know the fan itself, the actual motor, works fine. So I can eliminate needing to pull that out. Now if you happen to do that and only one stage worked and the other stage didn't, wherever it may be, well then yes, you're looking at pulling it out. There could be a number of reasons. One is, it could be a bad ground. Make sure you have a good ground as well, because in this unit, I happened to go to put a connection, and I used the existing ground that I was using, and the unit didn't work. So now that I cut the wire and grounded it straight to the battery, I know this unit had a bad ground. So I've problem solved this one. But if you're only getting one stage working and not the other, you may at that stage have to take it out and have a look. Check that the wiring is still intact. It might just be a bad connection. It might be that the mice like to get in there, especially for winter, if you haven't winterized it, and you like to make home in there and you like to chew the wires. I've had a customer before who contacted me, and the same thing. He wanted to get a whole new motor. He said it was gone, it doesn't work. I said, well, look here, before you do it, and take it out and test it. So we tested it and found out it was actually, again, just a broken solder. Soldered it back together, worked fine. So sometimes little simple things. So that's how we test that one. The next one we're going to test then is the actual switch. So I hope it focuses it in right on this. Here's a brand new switch. Let me try to focus it. You want to try to test your switch. You can test it while it's still in the car as well. Or you can take it out and try it. It does go this direction. So the 2 spades are on top. Focus in again. 2 spades are on top and the singles at the bottom. The spades we use on this is number 4, number 5, and number 8. So power comes in here, goes out, and goes out. And I'm going to bench test this to show you it working once the camera wants to stay in focus. So I'm going to get my tester. Now what I like to do on this, me personally, is I like to get the tester and I like to put it to audible sound. So when I do make a connection, you can hear it. So this is a brand new switch, so everything should work fine. So based on it, we're gonna it's a 2-stage switch. We're gonna put it at 0, put it in, and we should get nothing everywhere by right. So apologies if it's still blurred. I'm trying to focus it. Nothing. 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 So I'm going to put it on the first stage. There we go. There's our connection. And we have nothing on this one. I'm going to put it on the second stage. Nothing. There we go. So that's how the switch should work. So bench test your own switch, starting with the make sure the 2 spades are on top, because that's how it sits in the actual. So it sits in the car. So it comes in from this single one on the bottom. Well, not the bottom. It comes in for this single. First output is next and right above it, and then your second stage is the top 2 is the one. So it's in line. So that's how we try it. So try that and see. If you can then bench test your switch, you can bench test your heater blower and see. And that'll give you an idea whether it's the switch has gone wrong, whether the motor itself has gone wrong, or where you stand with it. And to save you pulling it out. Like I said, sometimes it's just a bad connection on the switch. Try clean it up. Try get the crap off the back on the spades and go from there and see where you are with it. But I hope this hope the video has been helpful, and to try isolate or diagnose the heater blower problem. And if you like this video, again, hit the subscribe button if you like the other videos. Don't be afraid to leave any comments if you've any other questions on it. And yeah, hopefully it was helpful, and talk to you soon.